Hi, hello, and welcome to a new lecture series on data communications and networks. Data communication and networking are changing the way we do business and the way we live. Business decisions have to be made more quickly and accurately. The decision makers require immediate access to accurate information. Why do we need to wait for a week for the report to arrive from US or any other place when it could appear almost immediately if you send the data by using the computer network? So one goal of data communication is to be able to exchange the data such as text, audio, video from any point in the world to any place. So in today's session we'll see a brief introduction about the data communications. So let's get started. So this is the brief outline of today's session. We'll see the types of data communication, we'll see what is data and what is information, what are the characteristics of effective data communications, the components of a data communication, the data representation and data flow. So we have two types of data communication. One is the local communication, the second is the remote communication. So whenever we communicate, we share information. So information is shared between the sender and the receiver. If the people are located at very close to each other, so local communication can be done. So local communication occurs usually face to face. So second form of data communication is remote communication. So remote communication takes place over longer distances. These are some of the examples of remote communication. Communication by using the computers, tabs, your mobiles, communication sent by emails, and so on. Data and information. Data refers to the information which is presented in a processed form. The data are the means by which the information is conveyed. So here data is raw and present in unorganized manner. After the data is processed, we call that as information. The data never depends on the information, whereas information is dependent upon the data. The data is unstructured, whereas information is present in a structured and organized manner. So these are some of the characteristics of effective data communication. The first one is the delivery, accuracy, timeliness, and jitter. Any system which is transmitting the data must be delivered to the correct destination. So the data which is received by the receiver or the intended device, it has to be reached perfectly. So if you are transmitting a text message to your friend, only your friend should be able to read that message, not anybody else. The second characteristic is accuracy. The system must deliver the data accurately. That is the data which is transmitted from the transmitter to the receiver. It has to be delivered accurately. The data that has been altered or distorted in transmission is unusable data. The third characteristic is the timeliness. Any system has to deliver the data in a timely manner. So the data which is delivered late is not of any use. In case of audio and video, timely delivery means delivering the data as they are produced and without any delay. This is known as timeliness. The last characteristic of data communication is jitter. Jitter refers to the variation in the packet arrival time. It is the uneven delay in the delivery of audio or video packets. For example, let us assume that the video packets are transmitted every 3 milliseconds. and if some of the packets arrive with 3 milliseconds delay and some others arrive with 4 milliseconds delay, there will be an uneven quality in the video, which is useless. So these are the 4 characteristics of effective data communications. We'll see the components of data communication. So we have 5 components of data communication. The first one is the message, second is the sender, the receiver, the transmitting medium, and the protocol. So message. The message is the information which is to be communicated. So examples of messages are text messages, message sent by using numbers, messages which are sent as images, messages sent in the form of audio and video. The second component is the sender. The sender is the device or the person that sends the data message. The sender can be a computer, a workstation, a telephone handset, a video camera, and so on. Receiver. The receiver is the device that receives the message. This also can be a computer, a workstation, a telephone handset, television, and so on. The next component is the transmission medium. The transmission medium is the path by which the message travels from the transmitter to the receiver. Some examples of transmission media are the cables, the transmission lines, fiber optic cables, and free space. The next component is the protocol. The protocol is the set of rules that has to be followed in data communications. This protocol represents an agreement between the communicating devices. If there is no protocol, the two devices, that is the sender and the receiver, may be connected, but they may not be able to communicate. So these are some of the components of data communication. So these are some of the forms of representation of data. Data can be represented as text, numbers, image, audio, and video. In data communications, text can be represented as a bit pattern, a sequence of bits, which can be in the form of ones and zeros. The different sets of bit patterns is called as a code, and the process of representing the symbols is known as coding. The second type of data representation is the numbers. Numbers are also represented by bit patterns. The number is directly converted to a binary number for simplifying the mathematical operations. The next type of data representation is an image. Images also can be represented by using bit patterns. An image consists of a matrix of pixels. So whenever you zoom an image, you can see small blocks or squares. They are known as the pixels. So an image consists of number of pixels. The size of the pixel depends on the resolution. The more the number of pixels, the higher the resolution, and there will be more clarity in the picture. The next is the audio data. Audio is the recording or broadcasting of the sound or music. Audio is different from the text message, numbers, or images. Audio is always present in continuous form. It is never in discrete form. When we use a microphone to change the voice or music to an electrical signal, a continuous signal is generated. The next form of data representation is the video. Video refers to the recording or broadcasting of a picture or a movie. Video can be produced in continuous form, or it can be a combination of images. Video also can be converted to a digital form or an analog signal. So these are some of the forms of representation of data: the text, numbers, image, audio and video. We'll see the types of data flow. Basically there are three types. One is the simplex, second is the half duplex, and the third is full duplex. In simplex mode of data flow, the communication is unidirectional. That is, only the transmitter will transmit the data and the receiver will only receive the data. This is just similar to a one-way street or one-way traffic, where the traffic moves only in one direction. Example is a keyboard, a monitor, or a radio broadcasting station, where the data is transmitted from the radio station, and we will be able to only listen to the data. We cannot transmit any data to the radio station. So this is simplex data flow. The second type of data flow is half duplex. In half duplex mode, both the stations, that is the transmitter and the receiver, both can transmit and receive, but not at the same time. When the transmitter is transmitting the data, the receiver will be able to receive only, and when the receiver is transmitting the data, the transmitter will be able to receive. Example of half duplex communication is a walkie-talkie. So whenever people talk on the walkie-talkie, after one person says over, then only the next person will be able to talk. So this is example of half duplex data flow. The third type of data flow is the full duplex. In full duplex mode, both the transmitter as well as the receiver, both can transmit and receive the data simultaneously. So this is like a two-way street with the traffic flowing in both the directions. This sharing can occur in both the directions. The data sharing can occur in both the directions. Example of full duplex communication is the telephone network. When two people are communicating by a telephone line, both can talk and listen simultaneously at the same time. So this full duplex mode is used when communication in both the directions is required all the time. The capacity of the channel has to be divided in both the directions. So these are the three types of data flow. So in the next session, we'll see about the networks, the distributed processing, the network criteria and their performance. So that's all in this session. Thank you.